mundo. Aquí estoy yo de nuevo. Mi nombre es Juliana. ¿Qué hay de nuevo? Ah, tenía las ganas de venir a live y a platicar con ustedes aquí, a ver qué hay de nuevo, qué es lo que está pasando. Así que si hay alguno de ustedes que vengan a acompañarme, aquí estoy dándoles lata. Esta vez vamos a ver, vamos a tratar el español. A ver cómo me va. Así que buenas tardes. Así que espero todo el mundo esté bien, tranquilos este sábado. Así que estamos bien acá de nuevo. Y pues hoy es septiembre 27 de 2025. Así que pues, ¿quién me va a acompañar ahora aquí? Así que espero que alguien venga por acá a saludarme, a ver cómo está todo el mundo por ahí. Así que aquí estoy dándoles lata, a ver qué es lo que está pasando en estos días. Así que pues, que está jodido esto que ustedes no están por ahí presentándose, hombre. Vamos a ver quién puede entrar a decirme hola. Así que aquí estoy esta tarde, este sábado, esta tarde, viéndolos de nuevo, esperando que si alguien venga a visitarme, a decirme hola, a ver de qué podemos hablar, qué es lo que podemos decir, de qué nos podemos entretener esta tarde. Así que por lo menos hay que hablar algo, ¿no? Aquí en la temperatura aquí en Nueva York está un poquito, no tan caliente, pero está como unos 70 y está un poquito nublado, así que pues disfrutando la tarde. Así que por lo menos entreteniéndome sola, esperando que alguien venga a acompañarme, por favor, hombre. ¿Quién puede venir ahora a decir hola? Hola, mi gente, ¿cómo está? ¿Alguien puede hablar español? Así que practicar el español juntos, a ver quién puede descifrar cualquier cosa de lo que está pasando en estos momentos alrededor de nosotros, porque hay tantas cosas que hay, ¿no? Hola, hi, ¿cómo está, mijita? You speak Spanish? I'm trying my Spanish today. Vanity Plush, that's a nice handle name. How are you? ¿Cómo está? ¿Habla español? Así que esta tarde quise hablar español, quise tratar el español esta tarde. Vanity, ¿qué hay de nuevo? ¿Qué se tiene de nuevo por ahí? What's new? What's new and hot today? I'm trying to speak Spanish to see if there's any of my viewers that speak Spanish, because I speak Spanish pretty good. So, hey, ¿cómo está todo el mundo ahí? Aquí estoy de nuevo. I'm trying here to say, hola, CMV4LP, ¿qué hay de nuevo? ¿Qué hay de nuevo, muchacha? Muchacho, por aquí estoy hablando de qué tantas cosas malas que están pasando ahora, ¿no? Con esta inmigración, con todo caro, este presidente está un poco ahí a la izquierda, que no deja hacer que uno quiera tener falta de hablar lo que uno quiera. La verdad que hay tantas cosas, todo está caro, hombre. Va al supermercado uno. Oh, okay. No, I'm saying that everything is so expensive today. Everything is so expensive. Let me put my reading glasses. TTC Bennett. I'm saying that what's going around this world, man, everything is so expensive. ICE soldiers, pulling people away, separating families. And you cannot afford even to eat. Everything is so expensive. I went to the supermarket, man. The avocados, they're very high. Like $2.50 for one. Hi, Vanity. I'm talking about her in Spanish, both in Spanish and in English. Hi, Legend Shot. How are you? Oh, I'm so happy people are coming to visit. I'm trying to speak, to speak Spanish. Maybe I can teach you guys Spanish. Hola. Thank you, Vanity. Thank you for flashing me. Man, I come out and do lives, but you know what? Sometimes hardly anybody comes and want to talk. You know how it is that somebody just stays in the background and, afraid to say hello? And because I have been one of those. I stay in the back and I just listen to what people are saying and then I take off, But it's nice to really, now that I do lives, sometimes I do silly ones, with my garden. But it's nice to have people around and talk to. And we human beings are very social people, like dogs. Dogs are very social animals. They like to hug you. Oh, thank you, Vanity. So what are you guys doing this Saturday? Legend Shot, you still there? Um, Bennett, you still there? I know you don't speak Spanish, but who speaks Spanish? Anyone speaking Spanish over here? CMV4MP. You speak Spanish. Hola. Oh, my dog. He's over there inside. I'm outside in the garden in the backyard. Do you have a dog, Vanity? Do you have a pet? Do you have a pet? Do you speak Spanish, Vanity? I'm out here. I'm out here in the garden. Look. You see, I'm in the backyard. I'm in the backyard. I'm not, it takes me a little while to get back in the house. Anyway, no Spanish. Did you learn any Spanish in high school? I'm American too, but that doesn't mean, you pick up the Spanish. Spanish is like a second language. So how's the weather by where you are? How's the temperature? How's the weather there? I'm here in New York. My dog is not here. He's walking out with my husband. He took him out to walk. They went out for a walk. So, do you have a pet? Vanity, you have a pet? You have a cat? Something? I'm alone right now, drinking water. So, oh, do you? You have fish? We have fish too. One of these days, I'm gonna record the fishes. We have not a big tank. I don't know how many gallons of tank there is, but we have 2, 3, 4 fish or 5, I think. Downstairs? You want me to bring? I have to go downstairs. All right, I'll do you the favor to go downstairs. Hold on. I'll take you to see my fish. They're big. My husband takes care of them, really. Hold on. It's a little dark in here. I'll take you there. So how's everything, guys? You still here with me? Okay, I'll show you the fish. Hold on. Okay, here we go. There they are. You see? Those are fish. They're like more than 20 years old. My husband takes care of the tank. There's a tiger, and there are 2 little ones somewhere. Where are they? Oh, I don't see them. I think unless that's it. Unless my husband didn't tell me that he died. Oh. So I guess there's only 3 now. So those are my fish. It's a big tank. I only see, I thought there were 4 or 5, but I don't see where the other ones are, So that's my fish. Do you take care of the tank yourself? Look, can you see it now? Can you see the fish? The fishy? Hi, little fishy. Hi, little guys. You see, there they are. Okay, I'm gonna go outside now. So anyway, I'll go back outside. Did you see them? That takes a lot of work. It's a lot of work to keep that tank clean, It's not easy. I don't really take care of it. My husband does. I have a daughter and a son. I have a daughter and a son, and I'm a grandma. I'm a grandma. I have It's gonna be 4 years old, my grandson, and my oldest is just turned 9 years old. Uh, no, my daughter's working. My daughter's working right now. She's in the medical field. She works weekends, you know. And my son is in the city right now. They don't live with me at all. My son comes once in a while. My grandson, he lives like 20 minutes away from here, from me, and I usually take care of him. I usually, I usually do take care of him. He turned 4 though. He's gonna turn 4 soon in October, and he started pre-K. So he's kind of sad because during the day I take him and he's not with me, and I miss him. I miss him because when I go shopping with me, he's with me and his little mini racer car. I don't. He's not with me. Oh, so you have a fish called Strawberry? Oh, how nice. So do you take care of the tank yourself? Do you take care of the tank yourself? It's a lot of work. I see my husband taking care of that tank. It's a lot of work. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy to change that water. You know. So do you clean the tank? Is it a small tank you have? Do you have a small tank? You know? Anything is work. Anything is work, anything that you own, that you have, it's a lot of work. Like I have a garden, it's a lot of work. But I love gardening. It's one of my hobbies. I'm a retired nurse. I retired a year ago, and this is what I do, gardening now. I do spend my time gardening and babysitting my grandson. You know, uh, you know, and anything in life is a lot of work. So what do you feel about what's going on? How do you feel about what's going on right now in around our lives? We have so much going on right now. We have the prices are high. You go to the supermarket and everything is so expensive, man. Avocados is like $2 each. Mangoes are $2, 2 for $4. That's $2 each. Everything is so freaking expensive. How can you? I don't know. I feel bad for these young people now. It's way too expensive to live. I know what's happening, guys. What happened? Sometimes they come in and they leave me. They leave me and they come back. I don't know why. I like to come out and talk. Like I said, we're social animals. I like to have to have a nice conversation about anything. Here we are talking about fish, anything. We can talk about anything. Life is. We can discuss life itself. Life is so freaking short, man. Life is like, it scares me. I'm a grandma, and it scares me to think that how many years do I have left? Like scary. It's scary like when you're young, you don't think about these things. You don't think about. When you're young, you're invisible. You're not thinking about anything else but just having fun. That's great. That's great. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good that you have a nice life. Weekends, but at least it's something, man. At least you look forward to it. I would say, like when I was young, we used to travel to Florida. We used to drive to Florida, the Florida Keys. And when we were listening to the radio in Florida, passing through Florida, because in the I-95, we were going all the way to the Keys. And if it was a Thursday, the radio announcer would say, "Oh, it's pre-sexual Thursday," you know, and what do you call? Oh, you want to play Butcher Vanity? But then I don't know how to do this. If I moved away from the live, I think I would lose. I don't think I can move out in and out. Could I? Maybe you can play it. Maybe you can play it and I can listen to it. You know, I think that if I swipe the live, I will look. You know what I mean? Oh, that's great. Okay, I'll see you soon then. So anyway, I was saying that life is very short. You know, right now, when you guys are young, you don't think about it. You know, hey guys, come on, say hello. You know, I'm talking about we're talking about anything here. So come and join me and say hi. You know, come on, guys. You know, let's be social, social on the Saturday afternoon, the September 27th, 2025. Can you imagine 2025? Shit. Not that long ago, it was 1978, 79, 80s. And then it was the 80s, then the 90s. And then we entered the 2000. And, you know, we entered the century, and we thought, oh, everything is going to go wild now. And here we are, 25 years later. And it's amazing, right? Time, man, time goes so fast. So anyway, so any of you have anything to say about what's going on around the world? You know, anything, any of you? I got two people on. So give me a feedback of what you think is going on. Come on, don't feel shy. Just type it and ask, and we can discuss it and have fun discussing it. You know, it's like I said, it's a social. Hello, guys, come on, let's type me something and talk to me. I want to talk about anything. I want to chat about anything. So let's get ready and put your fingers on those letters and ask. Let's talk about anything. Let's discuss anything you can think of. Right now, there's so much shit going on. I was talking to you guys in Spanish. ¿Alguien habla español? ¿Alguien habla español ahorita? Los que están ahí esperando. Estoy hablando de las cosas que están pasando. Hay cosas que están pasando que están tan malas. You know, I'm saying that there's so much shit going on that's really bad happening. You know, every time you pick up a newspaper, in the news is something bad, nothing new. Somebody got shot. The ICE is grabbing people, you know, taking them away from their families, and that sucks, you know. Anything. Look at this in the paper. It says here, Douglas Wilson wants the U.S. to be a Christian republic, and MAGA is listening. How do you like that? Which you would like to be the whole country to become Christian. I mean, is that the way it's gonna go? What do you guys think about it? You know, what do you guys think about it? You know, about becoming just Christian. I mean, to impose Christianity on you. How would you like that? It says here on the paper, Douglas Wilson wants the U.S. to be a Christian republic. Pastor Douglas Wilson sits on the front deck of a wooden boat casting a fishing line to placid waters. He sets down his rods, takes a swig of vodka, then puts a wick into the vodka bottle and lights it on fire. How do you like that? And what he wants is to have Americans to become a religious Christianity. He wants to impose Christianity on because they're saying that Christian is on the decline from 78 in 2007 to 63% in 2024. Whether that's true, Oh, did you, Vanity? Did you play it? Like I said, it would be harder unless I had the other pad. I could take it out, or I could take my Alexa out, and I guess next time. Hi, you back? I'm live. I would have to take the Alexa out. Next time I would do it. I will take the Alexa out and play it. You know what I mean? And yeah, right. But I should have, I don't know. Let me see. I wonder if I could do it while I'm on live. I doubt it. I don't know. You know, let me check. If I swipe, I wonder if I can swipe the live and look for Alexa. Let me see. Let me see if I can do it. Let me see. I'm gonna try it because you want me to do. Which is the one that you want me to play? Which is the song? I forgot. I forgot which song. Vanity, which song is it that you want? Which song do you want me to play? I would have to, like I said, I would have to try to look for Alexa and ask her to play. Give me the title. Give me the title of the. Give me the title of the song. Are you still there? Let me have the title of the song. I forgot. Let me see if I can go back. Butcher, Vanity. Butcher? Let me see. You said, can you play Butcher? Is that the title? Is that the title of the song? Let me see. Let me see if I can go and check it out. I don't know. I don't know if I can, but I'm gonna try. All right, let me see. I played it, but it didn't come out. It started to, but it didn't really play it. Not when I went back alive. I would have to have another pad near me and play it, and play a song. I'll try that next time. I'll see if that can be done. So I'm sorry if that didn't work out. So I'll try that next time. Next time that I'll try to have another pad. Anyway, so do you? Oh, you say you didn't understand Spanish, right? So I was trying to say that there's so much bad thing going on, man. There's so much. Where do you live? Do you live south or north, east or west? What part of the country are you from? I'm northeast. What part? Anyway, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. Butcher Vanity. Yeah, I gotta listen to that. Like I said, I could not play it. Anyway, so who else is hanging out? Everybody left me. I guess. Hi, people, come on. Hola, Elda Vila, ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué de nuevo? Estábamos hablando de lo que está pasando, man. Tantas cosas malas están pasando contra. Está el policía de ICE está que está que friega. Tú hablas español, ¿verdad, Elda? Estamos hablando de lo que está pasando, que todo está caro, todo va al supermercado, todo está carísimo. Fui hoy al supermercado y un aguacate me costó $2, no juegue. $2, ¿oíste? Cuando eran, ¿cuánto? Eran a veces 59 cents, 59 centavos, y ahora olvídese, eso está, uno compra un poquito y it's like about $100 is nothing. You don't buy anything. Uno no compra con 100 pesos, no compra nada. Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh, Elda, I thought you spoke Spanish, I speak Spanish. Estaba tratando de hablar español. A ver si puedo coger un público en español, que me hable en español y que diga, que pueda decir cosas que están pasando, you know. Ah, las cosas que están pasando están tan malas, hombre. Es horrible, horrible lo que está pasando. Están cogiendo a la gente allí que están con su familia, tratando de tener un buen tiempo, y viene los policías de ICE y los cogen allí, separan esa familia. What I'm saying is that the ICE police, you know, is picking up all these immigrants and you know, and taking them away from their family, and that's really so sad what's happening, you know. You know, I saw on TV the other day where in the courthouse, one of the ICE officers went into the court, you know, outside the court, and pulled out a male, pulled him away from his family. It was on the news, you know. Elda Ávila, ¿te habla español? Ávila, ¿habla español? ¿Mm? Te pregunto si habla español, Elda. Ay, si estoy bien, mijita, qué emoción que hablas español. Quiero tratar de hablar quiero tratar de ver si puedo escoger gente en grupo que habla español, que me gustaría practicar más el español, porque por aquí no se practica mucho el español. Así que, ¿cómo se llama? Me alegra. ¿Y cómo estás? ¿Qué hay de nuevo? ¿Qué es lo que piensas de todas estas agravaciones que están pasando alrededor tuyo? Como te estaba diciendo, ayer estaba viendo en las noticias que este policía de ICE, de inmigración, fueron a coger en la corte a un señor y él estaba agarrando de su hija, y estos policías del ICE vinieron y le quitaron a la hija y lo tiraron en el piso y casi se golpeó, y es un trama horrible, simplemente verlo da una lástima. Así que es una cosa horrible que está pasando, que a uno le da hasta miedo de andar paseando, si uno quiere pasear, porque a uno le puede pasar lo mismo también, ¿no? ¿No crees? Don't you think the same thing could happen to you? You know, if you just, you know, trying to have a fun walking out there and enjoying your afternoon, and you can be pulled over and detained, you know? So it's kind of hard. Eso da una, ¿cómo se llama? Da un dolor de ver lo que está pasando. Y en cuanto a los precios de la comida, eso es una cosa horrible también que está pasando, ¿no? ¿Tú no crees? Eso está horrible. Así que pues tantas cosas que hay. Y si no... Lo bueno que aquí es un país que es libre, pensamos que es libre y ¿cómo se llama? Y nosotros disfrutamos de muchas cosas que otras gentes no disfrutan. No disfrutan de su libertad, de poder decir lo que uno quiere, y en fin, de tantas cosas. I'm saying that some people, you know, around the world, some people don't have the privilege of enjoying freedom like we do, you know, in America. But that, either we take it for granted, and if one day we lose it, it would be pretty bad, you know, pretty sad. But anyway, Elda, ¿estás ahí todavía, mijita? ¿Estás escuchándome? Estamos hablando, ¿cómo se llama? Mucha gente se queda en la parte de ahí, in the background. You know, you people stay in the background, don't want to say something. Digan algo, pregúntenme algo, hay que discutir, si queremos discutir algo, a ver si ustedes quieren escoger ¿cómo se llama? Una plática, pues escríbanla ahí y podemos platicar. Podemos, ¿cómo se llama? Decir lo que está pasando, y podemos escoger cualquier charla que quieran y la podemos discutir entre todos, ¿no? Así que sería una buena sería una buena idea. Déjame ir a buscar agua, déjame ir a buscar agua. A ver, quiero ir a buscar agua adentro. Así que pues les estaba diciendo a ustedes, come on, listen guys, let's type something. Let's ask me for something that you'd like to talk about. You know, let's talk about a subject that you would like to talk to. I came to get some water. Let's talk about something that you guys would like to talk about. Let's pick up a subject. Um, pues estábamos diciendo, fui a buscar agua por ahí. Estábamos diciendo que le estaba preguntando a estos muchachitos que están ahí esperando, que no están diciendo nada. Venga mi gente, díganme algo. Hay que hablar hay que buscar cualquier charla que queramos. Estamos hablando, podemos hablar de música. Hay tanta música buena que hay por ahí, música hispana, música griega, Polish music, all kinds of music that there are. Así que pues, ¿cómo se llama? Digan algo, mi gente. Díganme qué es lo que quieren, de qué quieren hablar, de qué quieren platicar. A quién le gustan las poesías? A mí me gustan mucho las poesías. ¿A alguien le gustan las poesías aquí? Ella, ¿estás por ahí todavía? ¿O ya te fuiste? ¿O ya te aburrí? Ya te aburrí, te fui a preguntar cualquier cosa, mijita. No se preocupe. Dígame qué es lo que quiere hablar. Bueno, hay tantas cosas de qué hablar. Como les estaba diciendo, estaban las ¿cómo se llama? Las tarifas que Trump está imponiendo en todo. Nosotros los ciudadanos somos los que tenemos que pagar por ello. Le guste o no le guste. Quien está en realidad pagando por estas tarifas somos nosotros. Nosotros los consumidores, o nosotros ¿cómo se llama? El público. Nosotros somos los que estamos pagando. Es porque si nosotros estamos comprando un artículo como una televisión o un carro que ya sea americano o extranjero, ustedes o nosotros tenemos que pagar la tarifa. Y es mucho más caro. Si algo cuesta 30,000, me imagino que pues uno tiene que pagar más, como por lo menos unos 7,000 arriba del precio, tal vez más. O sea que es otra cosa que tenemos que pensar que nos afecta mucho a nosotros los consumidores. O sea que todo que vamos a comprar al supermercado está caro. ¿Por qué? Porque nosotros somos los que estamos consumiendo y nosotros somos los que estamos pagando por ello. Así que las tarifas las estamos pagando nosotros. Si ustedes van al supermercado o vayan a comprar algo, si ahora no se puede, si ahora ni un carro se puede comprar, porque el carro es doble de lo que uno pagaba antes. Si quiere comprar una televisión, lo mismo. Si cualquier artículo, porque todos los artículos que nosotros consumimos o compramos son hechos en China. Y entonces a China les cobra una tarifa la cual nosotros tenemos que pagar. Cuando compramos el artículo, nosotros somos los que compramos el artículo, ya sea una televisión, ya sea un aparato de un abanico o cualquier cosa. Nosotros somos los que estamos pagando el precio alto o la tarifa. Y eso es lo que mucha gente a lo mejor no comprende. Pero eso es lo que está pasando con la economía en este país. Nosotros somos los que estamos sufriendo porque mucha gente no puede pagar ni aunque sea a veces mucha hasta la renta donde viven, porque eso es hasta carísimo. Las rentas están caras, las casas están carísimas también. o no hay, ¿cómo se llama? Muchas casas tampoco para poder uno habitar y comprar. O sea que estamos jodidos ya sea como sea, de todas maneras. Así que, ¿cómo se llama? ¿Qué pasó? Todo el mundo se fue. Así que, ¿cómo se llama? Por favor, vuelvan de nuevo, hombre. Aquí estamos hablando de tantas cosas que están pasando. Y bueno, ¿qué más les puedo decir? Que tantas cosas que existen ahorita, tantos problemas que existen ahorita, ¿no? Vamos a ver ¿cómo se llama? ¿Qué pasó, hombre? Pues estábamos diciendo que a mí me gusta mucho la poesía, ¿no? También. A veces para relajarse la poesía es mucho más buena. Me gusta la poesía en inglés. I like the poetry in English and in Spanish. If any of you speak Spanish, hello, how are you, man? They left me alone, man. I was talking about stuff that's going on, and people left me alone. Anyway, there was stuff going on, like I was saying. I like there's so many poems. There's poems in Spanish, and if you speak Spanish, there's poetry. You know, sometimes poetry makes you forget. Poetry is like songs. You know, songs do make you sometimes give you a little good feeling. About whatever song, you know, we cannot live without music. Music is great. Music sometimes keeps us from inspires, really. Music inspires. So therefore, also poetry inspires you, too. What do you think songs are? Songs are pieces of poetry. You know, a writer, a composer writes a piece of a song, a little thing, and makes it into music, and that's like poetry, you know, like a poetry, really. So the music songs rhyme. So I was always interested in poetry, you know. I love poetry. There's so many so if any of you speak Spanish, maybe I can read to you a poetry, Spanish poetry or English poetry. It's really amazing how poetry could be a small poem could be converted into music. Simple as that, you know. So anyway, I got one person on with me. Hello, can you say hello? You know, I'm trying to say hi. Be nice, say something. Let's try to start a what do you call a chat. Say, pick up a subject about anything, and you know, and this is there's this poetry, this poem by Rafael de León, and it goes like this. Me lo contaron ayer las lenguas de doble filo, que te casaste hace un mes y me quedé tan tranquilo. Otro cualquiera en mi caso se hubiera echado a llorar. Yo, cruzándome de brazos, dije que me daba igual. Nada de pegarme un tiro ni enredarme a maldiciones, ni apedrear con suspiros las rejas de tus balcones. Que te has casado, buena suerte. Vive 100 años tranquila y a la hora de la muerte, Dios no te lo tome en cuenta. Que si al pie de los altares mi nombre se te borró, por la gloria de mi madre que no te guardo rencor. Porque sé tu marido, ni tu novio, ni tu amante, yo soy quien más te ha querido, con eso tengo bastante. Haciendo un poco de historia nos volvemos atrás para recordar las glorias de mis sueños de chaval. ¿Qué tienes el niño, Manuela? Dijo mi padre a mi madre. Anda como trastornado y tiene la carita de pena y el colorcillo quebrado. Ya no juega a la tropa, ni tira piedras al río, ni se destroza la ropa. Subiéndose a coger nidos, ¿no te parece a ti extraño? ¿No es una cosa tan rara que un chaval de 12 años lleve tan triste la cara? Mira que soy perro viejo y estás demasiado tranquila. ¿Quieres que te dé un consejo? Vigila, mujer, vigila. Y fueron 2 centinelas los ojitos de mi madre. Cuando sale de la escuela se va para los olivares. ¿Y qué busca allí? Una niña tendrá al mismo tiempo que el José Miguel, pero tú no le riñas que está empezando a querer. Mi padre encendió un pitillo, se enteró bien de tu nombre y te compró unos zarcillos. Y a mí un pantalón de hombre. Yo no te dije, te adoro, pero amaré a tu balcón y mi lazo de seda y oro de primera comunión. Y tú fría y orgullosa me dijiste de recompensa. 2 cintas color de rosa que engalanaban tus trenzas. Me dijiste, voy a misa con mis primas. Bueno, te veré en la ermita. ¿Qué sería? Te me pusiste a darme el agua bendita. Y luego en el campanario, cuando rompimos a hablar, dice mi titita Rosario que la cigüeña es sagrada, y el colorín de las fuentes y las flores y el rocío, y aquel torito valiente que está bebiendo en el río, y el bronce de esas campanas y el romero de los montes, y aquella raya lejana que le llaman horizonte, todo es sagrado, tierra y cielo, porque todo lo hizo Dios. ¿Qué te gustaría más? Tu pelo, qué bonito me salió. Pues, ¿y tu boca, tus manos redonditas? Y pies fingiendo el paso de las palomas zuritas, con la pureza del copo de nieve te comparé. Te revestí de piropos de la cabeza a los pies. A la vuelta te hice un ramo de pitimini precioso y luego nos retratamos en las agüitas de pozo. Y hablando de esas pamplinas que se inventan las criaturas, llegamos hasta la esquina cogiditos de la cintura. Yo te pregunté, ¿qué piensas? ¿Tú dijiste en darte un beso? Hi Vanity, I'm reading a poem. Y sentí una vergüenza que me cansó hasta los huesos. De noche, muerto de luna, nos vimos en la ventana. Mi hermanito está en la cuna, le estoy cantando la nana. Salté de la esquina, chiquillo loco, que mi madre no quiere ni yo tampoco. Mientras que tú cantabas, yo inocente me pensé que la nana nos casaba como marido y mujer. Pamplinas figuraciones que se inventan los chavales. Luego la vida se impone, tanto tienes, tanta vale. Por eso yo al enterarme que llevas un mes casada, no dije que iba a matarme, dije que me daba igual. Más como es rico tu dueño, te vendo esta profecía. Tú cada noche entre sueños soñarás de más querías. Y recordarás la tarde que mi boca te besó, y te llamarás cobarde como te llamo yo. Y verás sueña que me morí siendo niño, y se llevó una cigüeña mi corazón en su pico. Pensarás, no es cierto nada, yo sé que lo estoy soñando, pero allá a la madrugada te despertarás llorando, por él que no es tu marido, ni tu novio, ni tu amante, sino el que más te ha querido. Con esos tengo bastante. Por lo demás, todo se olvida. Verás como Dios te manda un hijo como una estrella. Avísame de seguida. Me servirá de alegre cantarle la nana aquella. So, this is a very good poem. This is a Spanish poem by Rafael de León. I love this poem. It's amazing. I'm going to translate it to you when I finish reading it, but it's about a woman that, I don't know if it's a woman or a man, but it's either saying that he will consent to anything except not to be mean to his mother. You know, let's say, I think it's a couple married to each other, but somehow I think the husband or the wife mistreated his or her mom, and he didn't like that. So that's the it's called Toito Te Lo Consiento, and it's a very rustic poem, and so this is how it goes. Vanity, if you're with me, this is a poem in Spanish, and it's called Toito Te Lo Consiento, meaning I will consent to anything. You know, and this is, and I will tell you, but like I said, the story is about this couple that he loves as much as a lot, but he does not like the way his wife, or it could be his, or it could be him. I mean, it could be her that doesn't want to tolerate him disliking, mistreating his mom. So this is how it goes. Todito te lo consiento. ¿Te acuerdas de aquella copla que escuchamos aquel día? Sin saber quién la cantaba, ni de qué rincón salía. ¡Qué ángel! ¡Qué estilo! Qué sentimiento y qué voz. Creo que se nos saltaron las lágrimas a los dos. Todito te lo consiento, menos faltarle a mi madre, que una madre no se encuentra y a ti te encontré en la calle. No vayas a creerte que esto va con intención, pues sabes que por ti tengo clavado en el corazón el querer más puro y bueno que ningún hombre sintiera, por lo que Dios uno y trino le dieran por compañera, pero me gustó la copla, y entre bien por solares, todito te lo consiento, menos faltarle a mi madre. Y me he enterado casualmente que tú le faltaste ayer y nadie me lo ha contado, pero yo lo sé, que tengo mis amores entre dos cariños repartidos, que si encuentro a uno llorando es que el otro lo ha ofendido. Y mira que no me canso de tus caprichos constantes. ¿Quieres un vestido? 14. ¿Quieres un reloj? De brillantes. Ni me importa que la gente vaya de mí murmurando que si soy para ti un muñeco, que si me has quitado el mando, que en la diestra y siniestra tienes un par de agujeros por donde se van al mar los ríos de mi dinero. ¿Y a mí qué? Con tal de que a mi vera tú jamás te me separes. Todito te lo consiento, menos faltarle a mi madre, porque ese mimbre de luto que nos levanta su voz, que en 6 años no ha tenido contigo ni un sí ni un no, que anda como una pavesa, que no gime ni suspira, que se llena de gloria los ojos cuando nos mira, que me crió con su sangre, que me llevó de la mano, porque me santiguaste como buen cristiano, que en las cancelas del Hijo consumió su juventud cuando era 40 veces más guapa que tú. Tienes que hacerte de cuenta que la vistes en los altares y ponerte de rodillas antes de hablarle a mi madre, porque este amor que le tengo se lo debes a su amor, que yo me casé contigo porque ella me lo mandó, con que a ver si tu conciencia se aprende esta copla mía, muy semejante a aquel cante que escuchamos aquel día, sin saber quién la cantaba ni de qué rincón salía. Desde la cuna a la madre de mi alma, la quiero desde la cuna, por Dios no me la vasalles, que madre no hay más que una y a ti te encontré en la calle. So what he's saying is that apparently he seems to be angry that he heard her he heard her being very mean to his mother, and he will not forgive that, because he says if he wants anything that she wants, he'll buy it for her. You want a diamond watch? I'll buy it for you. Do you want a dress, a new dress? I'll buy you 50 if you want. But I will tolerate anything except to dislike my mother or to mistreat her. He says, because mothers is only one in this world, and I find you on the street, and my mother gave me all the love in the world so I could be married to you, and she didn't have to approve our marriage. I married you. So it's a very, it's a very touching story. You know what he says. He will tolerate anything except not except not not behave in a very not nice way towards his mom. So he's saying, I will consent anything except mistreating my mom, you know. So that's kind of like a sad. So songs. There are songs. There's, like I said, songs are little pieces of poetry. You know what I mean? Songs that look at. I'm talking to you guys, and here's a little guy visiting me. Watch. Hi, little guy. Hi. That's my little visiting. Hi, little guy. It's a new grass, and there he is coming. There he went. He went and hid himself somewhere over there. He went. He went and. That's my little rabbit. Went to say hello. So yeah. There also are there's poetry, English poetry. There's so much. There's so much that flowers by the sea. It's a very small. The locust tree and the flower. There's one, but this is flower by the sea. It's a very small one. It's a very small poem. When over the flowery, sharp pasture's edge, unseen, the salt ocean lifts its form chicory and daisies, tide, released, seem hardly flowers alone, but color and the movement or the shape perhaps of restlessness, whereas the sea is circled and sways peacefully upon its plant-like stem. It's could that be converted into music? I'm pretty sure. That could be Danny, you still there? There's so much. There's the rose. This is called the rose. It sounds, it sounds like a rose. The rose, it has a very symbolic. The rose is a very symbolic flower that it describes love. It describes sympathy. When there's a funeral, you bring a whole bunch of flowers because I guess it shows sympathy. So the flowers, and the flowers they die too. It's a shame. So sad somebody gives you a beautiful bouquet of flowers and they die. So you pay the price of beautiful roses, and it costs a lot of money, and they die. So I don't know. I don't know. And then the same way when you love somebody and you want to show them the true feeling of yourself, what do you buy? Well, usually the male is the one that buys the flowers for the female. He'll if a male is courting you when you're young, he'll bring you, he'll come to pick you up to go out. He'll bring you a bouquet of flowers. So flowers, roses, they do represent love, sympathy, friendship. So there, there's uh, this poem that hi, come on, people, hello, how are you? What do you want to talk about? Let's say something. I have this poem in English. It's titled The Rose. It says, the rose is obsolete, but each petal ends in an edge, the double facet cementing the grooved columns of air. The edge cuts without cutting, meets nothing, renews itself in metal or porcelain. Whither it ends. But if it ends, the start is begun, so that to engage roses becomes a geometry, sharper, nearer, more cutting, figured in majolica, the broken plate glazed with a rose. Somewhere the sense makes copper roses, steel roses. The rose carried weight of love, but love is at an end of roses. It is at the edge of the petal that love waits. Crisp, worked to defeat, laboredness, fragile, plucked, moist, half raised, cold, precise, touching. What? The place between the petal's edge and from the petal's edge a line starts, that being of steel, infinitely fine, infinitely rigid, penetrates the Milky Way, without contact lifting from it, neither hanging nor pushing. The fragility of the flower, unbruised, penetrates space. Yes, I'm live. So that was my husband trying to figure out what was I doing. So I'm telling him I'm live. Uh, so yes, so I read you this. I read you The Rose. It's by William Carroll Williams. Um, selected poems. It's very nice. It's and therefore, like I was saying, I don't know how I ended up with I don't know how I ended up with reading you poetry. We were talking about other things, and I ended up talking to you about I ended up talking about reading you some poetry. Poetry is it's really interesting. Like I said before, I mentioned it before. Poetry, you can anybody can write a poem really if you have inspiration. Especially you have inspiration, you are inspired about anything in life. You sometimes something inspires you. You could be in love, you know, and poetry doesn't really is. You don't get inspired by just love. You can also get inspired by hate. Because love becomes hate at the same time. Sometimes it has a double edge. Love can become hate, really. So you can write a poetry about hate, something that you disliked, anything, hatred, which is not good, really, because if you live with hatred in your heart, it's not really something that you would like to carry on. It's a burden, really, and it's not healthy, you know. You wonder sometimes why people, sometimes you say, oh, so and so died, and everything looked all right, everything seemed fine. They were, she was nice, she's very sweet all the time, but God knows, you never know what goes on in between people, when they, every house has its story. uh, People are people, they carry on. This little brain over here carries on a lot of stuff, and you could appear to be a happy go lucky person, but inside you're not. Inside you must carry a whole load of bad thinking, experiences that you were not able to resolve in life. And that happens a lot. That happens a lot. A lot with people. They carry a lot of. They harbor a lot of bad things. Um, they're harboring problems. So yeah, those things could inspire you to write a poem about anything. You know, you'll be surprised at what you can depict from what inspiration you get, and you can write anything. You can write about anything um, of what's happening around you right now. You feel sad. If you still feel sad, you can pick up a pen and write about it, and you can come up with an interesting piece of work. How do you think composers, how do you think songwriters write? They go up in a very isolated area, by the mountains. They get inspired. They get inspired by that atmosphere, by that environment. You cannot get inspired, in the bustle and hustle and noisy area, but a place that it brings you, that is quiet, peaceful. You get inspired. You get to write beautiful. Most of these songwriters, they write beauties. They write hits when they get themselves up in an isolated area, peaceful, beautiful tower. Hi, Vanity Plush. I'm talking about poetry. I'm talking about how you can get inspired by love, by hate, by anger, by many emotions in life. You'll be interested how you can write. You can come up with a real nice piece of poetry, or a nice piece of art and writing, of how you feel. And have you ever when you were angry, or when you were in love, or when you had a nice thing that happened to you, and you got your feelings and you wrote them down? When you read it back, No, he's not. They went out far. They work far. So anyway, I was saying that it's a nice piece of work that you can come up in a poetry. You know, you should read poetry. You know, in the library, go to a library and pick up any poem. I have this I have this right now. This is called, I don't know, we may see backwards. It's called Carlos Williams Selected Poems. And then I have this one. This is an old book that I have. It's called Poesías Populares by Jose Guad. This is like about 30-year-old book that I have so many, I have written poetry myself through the years. I have a book that when I was in high school I used to write. I used to write poetry. But like I say, you vanity, you can do it yourself. You can do it yourself. If you are in love right now, you can write a poet. You can write a piece of poetry, and you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. You share it with your family and say, look what I wrote. And it's feelings. Writing your feelings, how you feel at the moment. You know, and also, when you're angry, sometimes it's very good to write it down, to write down what you feel. And if it comes out, you get it out of you. You're not carrying that. You're not carrying that anger with you. And sometimes when you're angry, sometimes it gets stored in your brain. It gets stored here and gets stored here and in your gut, in your abdomen. You're carrying that anger in you. So the best thing to do if you're anger, the best thing is to jot it down, write down all the bad feelings that you have, and and then you will feel better, and you will not carry that burden with you. And if you're in love, love is totally different. You write, you can share with you the one that you love, a piece of poetry that you wrote, and it should be it should feel good. So yeah, talking about that. What else were we talking about? We talking about it. Yeah. It's also to write things down as a poet. Things that you have experienced. It also helps you with your mental, you know, health. You know, um, because sometimes you carry stuff that you're not feeling good about it. Um, it's good to write it down because that helps you. That helps you have a clean bill of health in your brain, in your mind. You know what I mean? So writing things down, of writing your experiences down, your bad experiences down, is a good way to get rid of bad feelings within your head. Because the mind is a very fragile thing, really fragile. You have to have a healthy mind, and in order to keep a healthy mind is to really get out, talk to somebody if you're not feeling that great. You know what I mean? If you have things going on in you, you're not mentally, you're not feeling that great because somebody really mistreated you, or you had a friend that didn't, was nasty to you. And if he happens to be a good friend of yours, and you hurt about it, and you carrying that in you with you, it doesn't have to be your friend. It could be your mom that yelled at you or something, and you snapped at her. And so the best thing is to be quiet, go upstairs and write down, and that will calm you, and that will make you think different, and you will act different too. So yeah, writing things down is, bad experiences, is a good way to keep your mind healthy, because you don't walk around, feeling angry or feeling, in distress in your mind. And yeah, so I will advise you to do that. Try not to lose your patience. If you're angry, try not to. If you're angry, you try not to. You should step back and not yell at the person you're having an argument with. You you try to take a deep breath, step back, and walk out of it, and say, we'll talk later about this discussion, and you'll be a winner. Whereas if you insist in in getting the argument heated, someone is gonna someone is gonna end up physically hurt, because when you're angry, nobody thinks straight. When you're angry, people do not they're not in the right mind. You know, people are not in the right mind when they're angry at all. You know, people tend to act act negatively, physically, in a way that you can throw the punch first, or the other person can throw the punch first over a stupid thing. So yeah, the best thing is to walk away. The healthy way. You're having an argument with your friend, and it's getting heated. So the best thing is to just step out. Step out of it, and try to just forget about it. You can say, be the bigger person, and say, listen, I don't think this is leading to any positive thing. We can talk about it. Let's change the subject. Let's forget about it. But sometimes that's even hard for people to do. Sometimes people don't like to do that either. But either you end up with a broken friendship, um, which could be, it was fruitless. It didn't have to happen, because later on, this is a friend that you had for a long time, and everything is. But then again, stuff like that happens anyway. Stuff like this happen even with relationships. Of 30 years, marriage of 30 years. Sometimes they end up, I don't know. It just ends. But then again, we have to focus on the way that it is what it is. You know, um, if you fell out of love, what are you gonna do? You have to, seek um, somebody, somebody in the field that can help you. You know, in terms of trying to accept. It is very hard. I mean, like I said, all these things can affect your life. Can affect your mental health. So always try to think how to go about certain problems before you do anything, decide to do anything drastic. You know, because life to begin with is very short. You know, it doesn't pay to not think right, right? Um, do the right thing. Anyway, I think. Hello, come on. Are you guys listening to what I'm saying? Trying to say that when you are angry at somebody, or whatever it is, try not to just try to work it out, because like I was saying, life is very short. And if you are the bigger person, either of you, the one that thinks the most logical, should say, I think or give the person, if it's an argument that he or she thinks that he's right. Okay, so you think right. This is the way I think. This is the way I think you're wrong. But if you're right, then you're right. Then we'll talk about it some other time. Let's not screw our friendship. So that's what I'm advising. Y and switching to Spanish, hablando en español, espero todo el mundo haya tenido un buen tiempo platicando conmigo, y I hope everybody had a good time talking to me. It's always constructive to talk to you guys, and anyway, I think I've been talking over an hour, so it's I think I'm gonna cut it short now, and and wish you guys. But you guys are now, I got 3 more people there, and hello there. How are you? Come on, say something. You wanna say a piece of something? Talk to me. write me something. Don't be afraid. Don't feel inhibited. Write, type me something that you'd like to discuss. I'll have a few more minutes. And like I said, I was talking about anger, love, what drives people to get angry, what drives people to hit and get into bad fights. So anyway, that's what I was saying. So um, anyways, breaking news: Hurricane Umberto strengthens into rare Category 5 in the in the Carolinas. It said. Anyway, that's something that a news just jotted down. So anyway, yes. So you guys are still hanging out. Give me a like, man. Say, press that like button. Um, as I was saying, life is very short. Why should you waste? Face down vanity. How can I do that? Butterfly yoga flaps. I should just FaceTime. How can I FaceTime? There's no FaceTime. That you do that in Facebook, I think, right? But not on live. I don't think you can do that on a live, on YouTube live. I don't think you can just FaceTime. You know what I mean? I don't think you do. Butterfly. So what's going on with you guys? We were talking about but when you're trying to get having an argument with your partner or your friends or whoever you're dealing with, and try not to get your anger get in the way. Try to always to be the bigger person and try to bring the level down and be and end up things differently that it could if you do not, if you don't throw the punch because you think you have the right to go. And even when you're driving, when you guys are driving, I see people driving and they're like cut you down. You see time? That's my husband. That's my husband calling me. Anyway, so what else was I gonna say? Uh, uh, It's time for me to go and have dinner. You have dinner cooking, and anyway, it was a pleasure talking to you guys. Maybe some other time we can pick up where we left off. It was productive to talk to you guys about things in life. You know what I mean? So anyway, so you guys have a good day, have a good Saturday night, and enjoy yourself and have fun. Love you guys, and hasta luego, hasta pronto.